it's only 5:59.
Hi,
We're
Dan.
not late.
I didn't see you back there.
I know, I feel like I'm blocking him. Sorry.
Exactly on the other side. And you're back, because you were sick last month.
Yeah.
The whole house was sick last month.
Yeah.
In
Like
the
winter
summer.
sickness.
Oh.
Going to call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. This regular Board of Education meeting on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. If we could begin with a roll call, please.
Yes, Dr. Michael Thomas,
Present.
Lauren Dowden,
Present.
David Shepherd,
Present.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Present.
Denise Jones, yes, Michael R. Miller,
Present.
Colleen Clemzak.
Present.
All are here.
Excellent. And present and healthy. If we could stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If we could take a look at the agenda, I actually have an addition. It's a re-addition. So because I did go to the Arrow meeting on Monday, Sonia had taken it off just in case no one came, but I went. So we're adding an Arrow report in board reports. So with that addition, if I could have a first motion with that addition to approve the agenda.
To add Arrow board report to the agenda.
Great,
Second.
excellent. And the motion to approve the agenda with the addition?
Motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the Arrow
Thank you.
report.
It would be
Still
alphabet
second?
number.
I'm still gonna
what-
second
what
it.
alphabet
So it'll
letter?
be, we will be adding it on item E.
Item E.
And like I said, it's really adding it back in, so awesome. Great. Okay, and a vote please to approve the agenda.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Yay.
Mike Wallmuller.
Yay.
Denise Jones, yes, Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes, please.
Motion passed.
Great, thank you. Okay. Staff reports.
Okay.
All right.
Our first report for this evening is from Miss Jan Stanton, our community education coordinator. Hi Jan, how are you?
I'm good, and thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for
Welcome,
coming.
always, to provide an update. I'd just first like to say it's through the generous donation of the Ed Foundation, the fire department in Evergreen Park, Meyer Foods and Mariano's, and the volunteer teachers that we have to do these classes that we're able to offer these free to our community. So that's very much appreciated. As I mentioned in the board report, the CPR and first aid classes are taught by Ed Dunn from our fire department. The art classes by Barb Thompson, a retired art teacher out of Southeast School. And Camille Dickey teaches all the cooking and baking classes, of course, from Central Middle School. And the floral arrangement classes everything is donated from Mariano's, as well as their department head of florist, and she is the one that actually conducts the classes, and everyone leaves with truly a beautiful centerpiece for whatever season it is that she's doing. We continue to offer free English classes, partnering with Moraine Valley again. We also reach out to 123, 126 to offer those classes to them and their community as well. We'll begin our classes, I think we set the date of September 9th for next year, and it's always 24 sessions. We will continue to be virtual.
Nice.
We were originally not virtual, and then when COVID hit, we were virtual. We've just found that for transportation reasons, for a lot of our families, it's really worked out well, so we'll continue to be virtual for that. And this is our 10th year partnering with Moraine Valley. They have started to drop in conversation groups at Moraine, and a lot of our parents and community members have taken advantage of that. And a lot of them are on weekends or evenings, so they can, work it around their own schedule. But they just drop in, talk about whatever conversation is going on, and a lot of them feel that they've gotten a lot of benefit from that. As far as the CPR and first aid classes, 210 individuals have been trained through this program for CPR, and 147 individuals have been trained in first aid. Dan has some photos for us. So alcohol ink painting was our first class. I believe you all got bookmarks from that class. So it's a very interesting technique, using paint and rubbing alcohol, and they all turn out amazing, but all different. And so those were, that was one of our first classes. Bath bombs was our next class. Mr. Shepherd probably had a little light to that. They didn't all turn out great. It was a fun class, I think. Yeah. But, we had some great looking bath bombs and some that were turned into bath salts. So we used everything, but not always for bath bombs.
We have the cinnamon thing that we made with it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
sitting right in the bathroom right now.
Oh, there you go,
There.
there you go. The fall floral arrangements, 20 individuals did floral arrangements, and they did a beautiful job for that. And then our next class was appetizers for the holidays, where they all made just two different separate appetizers. One was a pizza dip, and the other one was a meatball bubble biscuit. And it happened to be the night before we were meeting with Senator Cunningham, and Mayor Burke. So a lot of them came back and said, oh, we went home, we baked them, and they were great, So we got a lot of feedback on that class. They seemed to like it. And, so the coffee was the next day. We typically get a pretty small group for the coffee, 4, 5, 6 individuals. Camille knows this. And we set up 15 chairs, being optimistic, and they just kept coming.
It was amazing that day,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
There were over 40 people.
Yeah, it was a big
It
deal.
was a big crowd. So I said to Mayor Burke as they're rolling in, I'm like, oh, this is the most we've ever had, And she's like, Jan, that's not usually a good thing.
Unfortunately, sometimes.
Okay, no,
It was lively conversation though,
Yeah,
it was really
lively.
good.
It was lively, yes, and a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers. They always meet with individuals afterwards to,
You're so good about that.
if it's a one-on-one thing, just to, not to have tie up the whole group. So they did, as always, a great job. And then our spring classes, we did a very rustic wind chime, and you can see there, everybody kind of created their own, made the piece their own, and they did a nice job on that. And then again, we had a spring floral centerpiece,
Those are
mainly
beautiful.
with tulips, and was a nice sized group, and they did a nice job in there. The kids baking class was fun. Camille did that, of course, and the chocolate eclair cake was what they worked on. They did this 2 days before Mother's Day, and chocolate eclair cake, you always want to keep it in the refrigerator at least one night.
Yes.
So a lot of them, Camille said, well, you could serve it for Mother's Day dessert, and a lot of them said that that's what they were going
It's
to do.
a family favorite for our house.
And then the fettuccine class was the adult cooking class, and they really did a great job. And Camille always offers just a little bit of history with it about her family, you know, and how they've made everything from homemade, from scratch, and certainly not what a lot of people do today, but she always has an interesting story to go along with it while our dough is setting or whatever. So working on the fall classes, and we have some nice ones lined up, and that's pretty much it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's really great. Thank you, Jan. I'm glad that we did that. So you had the bath bomb. I know I was CPR certified a couple of years back.
Ravioli.
The charcuterie. I got to do that one. I had
Sure,
some little
with that,
hands
a lot of the
helping.
classes.
It was hilarious. They did a much better job than I
Lot
did,
of
so.
fun.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jen.
Yes,
It's
thank
always
you.
good to hear from you.
So my next update is regarding registration reminders, because of course it is that time of year, and I also have enrollment updates for you. So we have a complete online registration process for returning students. We do use our Clear Batch system for all returning students to verify residency. And Elizabeth Lopez, who is our star register, she goes through each and every individual registration to ensure residency is accurate. Upon completion of residency verification, the parents should receive a postcard and an email to specify that they are a resident of the district, and that will walk them through next steps of enrollment along with payment. You can pay for tuition upon registration as well. If additional documentation is required, you will receive information from Elizabeth Lopez directly. And she just wanted me to share a reminder tonight that all returning students received a SNAP code email in May. And if you are having a hard time locating that email, even though she sent it 5 times on repeat, you can contact her directly and she can provide you with information for registration. And then of course, we do still have 2 open registration nights, so that's July 31st and August 1st. And all that information is also located on our website. So I'm going to briefly go over where we are currently with registration, just so you have an indication, but we are also still processing some of our summer enrollments. Just as a reminder, Elizabeth Lopez, she's an 11-month employee and she just came back this Monday. So new student registration, we had 82 students. As always, we are always monitoring kindergarten, and I just want the board to be aware that we do have 3 sections established for Northeast, Southeast, and Southwest, just based on previous enrollment in years past and preparing for kindergarten appropriately. Our returning students completed registration, we currently have 1,191 completed. Our total students completed registration, we have 1,273, and we still have a total additional pending registration at 465. And those will be the emails and information that she will be going through upon her return, which was just this week. So we are getting up there in numbers. Excited to welcome back our students. It's definitely our planning time of the summer months, and want to make sure that parents have all the information they need to successfully register their students this upcoming fall.
When do the cards go out?
They should go out in the very near future. So
Okay.
as soon as she gets out with the 465 and processing them, then I can verify exactly when they're anticipated, but typically by the first week in August, they should be in mailboxes. Everyone waits for the postcard.
Well,
And the email.
but I think they
You,
go
our
out at the same
families,
time.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of folks that have already taken care of all of that.
Yes,
so.
yes, which is awesome. My next topic is regarding CMS connections and our communication strategies that we're using for this summer and upcoming fall. So we are really focusing on making sure we've increased parental involvement in communication, and that's due to the leadership of Dr. Jenna Moeller and our associate principal, Christina Lavin. We came up with this concept of creating a CMS FAQ located on our website. And it was really driven out of some feedback that I received from parents as well as the Board of Education. We will be mailing out another postcard. I love postcards, right?
Hey, they work.
But we are going to communicate with our parents on a consistent basis in as many formats as possible and directing them to the same information. So the postcard will have a QR code mailed to all CMS families with links to information, and that is actually currently active on our website. And we also sent a form to all families that if they had additional questions, that they could ask them to us directly. We will continue to add to the FAQ document. And if there's individual questions that come through, Dr. Mueller is still answering them and addressing questions based on parent response, and or if it's an individualized question based on their student or child. CMS also held meet and greets to share valuable information and gather feedback from parents this past spring. And we were working some of those questions into the FAQ as well. There was an offering for a PM and an AM session. And then most recently, we have partnered with our EP podcast, which I am super excited about. And we will be hosting 12 sessions, or one a month, I should say. And the topics are going to be driven on a variety of different communication strategies. But we have intentions of highlighting the work that Central is doing minimally 6 times throughout the course of the year.
And maybe one student to be a part of the podcast.
I think multiple students, Denise,
Yeah,
don't you?
definitely.
That's fine.
Maybe our student advisory board members?
Even better. Love it.
Great idea. Any questions on communication with CMS? Next, we have the lovely Jim Hennessy here to give us construction updates. Look at that big crane. It's huge.
Hello.
That is a big thing.
Another summer, another round of projects, which is awesome. You all have the updates from Precision Construction in your board packets, which was, they've been giving us those each month as an update, which is nice. A lot of companies don't do that for us, so. But I went and took some pictures. That was actually Tuesday morning. They were able to deliver the new chiller and raise it onto the roof, and I almost missed the shot. They were over there a little earlier than I thought, so I had to run over real quick. So those are the best pictures I could get.
Early's nice.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, early's nice. That doesn't happen very often.
So as of today, I met with them at our weekly meeting. Everything is 100% on schedule.
Nice.
All the new unit vents are installed, fan units and the ceilings are installed, all the piping is done, it's been tested, it's filled. So everything's insulated, they're right on schedule, which is great. The chiller, like I said, was set in place on Tuesday. Connections are being made. They have to wait until ComEd is able to shut the power down to the entire building to make the final connection. And we were told they called ComEd and ComEd said, we're a little busy this week. So it might get pushed back a week, but it's not gonna change any deadlines for us. They still have enough work where they can keep going, but ComEd asked if they could wait a week to make that final connection, so.
People need power at home. Yes, yes, absolutely.
So I'm excited because once everything is hooked up and running, the amount of energy savings that we're gonna have at that building, I can't wait to see the first ComEd bills come in.
Yeah,
Very
nice.
light.
Those window units just,
Aaron looking forward to that.
just took up, I mean,
Oh, those, just.
electric bills were insane.
Mhm.
They've done a great job keeping the building as clean as possible for construction. I'm gonna have custodians returning on Monday to start cleaning. It's gonna be a little bit of a mad rush, but they're giving us classrooms as they can.
Oh,
So
sure,
we should be able
okay.
to follow the progress and
Mhm.
clean. I think we'll be okay. There might be
I
a
heard a
couple,
should in there.
there might be a couple days where some of us have to stay late, but I just wanna make sure everything's ready for the first day of school, so.
Of course.
Early August, everything will be complete except for the balancing of all the systems. So they have their HVAC guys come in and make sure everything's running like proper flow and just making sure everything's good to go. And the programming with the computer system will be probably through the entire month of August, but it won't disrupt class or anything. A lot of it will be done in the boiler room or remotely. But then, once this is complete, we'll be able to control everything from the computer. And there'll be systems telling us, hey, you might wanna check this before it goes down, or this needs an adjustment, so I'm really excited. It's gonna be really cool.
That's awesome.
And,
It's gonna be really cool.
yeah. And they also, did put air conditioning in the hallways, which I know Denise will be happy for. The hallways are gonna be nice and cool now, so.
Nice, good.
They had to make a few adjustments on where they were gonna put the units, but we decided on a new spot, and it was so much easier, it'll be easier for us to work on.
Smart.
So, yeah, it's gonna be nice. They're already asking when they can, go to Southeast. So,
Sure, Southeast is
um,
wondering too.
but I'm hoping that once the automation system is up and running and we're comfortable using it, I'd like to see if they could possibly link into the other schools, so we can do everything. Not central, would need a whole new system upgrade, but
Yeah.
the other schools that have had this work done, Southwest and Northwest, if we could hook up with that automation system, so it, because the automation system we have right now is kind of outdated. And I like Precision's progress in their processes
Yeah.
better, it's more user-friendly, so we're gonna see how this works out, but hopefully in the future, everything will be on one system. So,
And we can save money.
yeah,
Denise would say, saving money, I
no,
hear
I
saving
think,
money.
like I said, I think we're gonna, the energy costs are just gonna be crazy, the amount we're gonna save once this is up and running, so. So in the pictures, you can see there's, I just ran through real quick, and that's one of the ceiling units, in the social worker's office, and then picture to the right, some new equipment in the boiler room that they installed.
So shiny.
Oh yeah, everything's nice and shiny and clean.
Right.
And then, the one on the left is the new piping run that they had to run through the whole school.
Wow.
It's all insulated, full, ready to go. And then on the right there is, that's into each classroom. So that's above the ceiling, right to the new univents, all the controls are right there and accessible,
Nice.
which is nice.
It's accessible from the hallway,
No, from the classroom,
from the
but it's,
classroom?
some of the old ones were in a bad spot.
Okay,
So
no, I
these will
gotcha.
all be, you can just move one
Brilliant.
ceiling tile, everything's right there for you.
Nice.
And it'll all
Okay,
be
yeah.
labeled on where it's at, so you can walk in a room, okay, I know right where it's at.
Nice,
So,
okay, I gotcha.
On the right here, in some of the classrooms, they had to drop down with the pipes exposed. On the right there, those are insulated, and they are gonna wrap that in a panel, and we were able to match
It's
the.
not terribly obtrusive.
No, it's not, but we were able to match the wall color from when we had the upgrades a few years ago,
Makes sense.
and you won't even notice it. There'll be a cover over it painted the same color as the wall. But it was either do that or start ripping down walls, so this was much better.
No ripping, no
And it's
ripping.
a lot cheaper, so. But yeah, I'm very happy with the progress, and like I said, it's exciting.
May I ask, and just out of curiosity, will the teachers or be able to control the temperature in the classroom?
They will to a point. We're gonna have to set limits, because if it's 40 degrees out, I don't, if they're setting things that, if they want the air conditioning on, that's, some teachers will mess with the thermostats thinking it's like at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different system, but they will have access,
Oh, wow.
it'll just be limited,
Yeah, okay.
at least to start.
Mhm.
If it all works out where they can all do their own thing and not disrupt the flow of the whole system, then, but yeah, they'll be able to, cause some teachers are hot and you go in the next room and they're freezing, so
Right.
Yeah, they'll be able to. It won't just be like how it is now where it's, you're either hot or cold.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm very
July is
excited.
busy.
No, it's very busy.
July is busy.
August is gonna be even busier.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim. I really liked the update, the pictures that you added to the report in our packet. Like, that was really interesting to me as well, so thanks for that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Present.
I haven't seen you all in a long time. Missed you, here we are.
So I am here to talk about our school improvement plan for Central Middle School. A little background, if you remember, a couple years ago, we were targeted for our English learner student population. With that comes a school improvement grant through Title funds. And you get those funds for 3 years consecutively, regardless of what your designation is. So last year, we were designated as commendable, but we still continue to get those funds because they want to see sustained change. So last year, we had a school improvement plan. If you remember, I think Rob and Jenna presented out on it in April or May. Intentional scheduling we talked about, and we were able to do that with our advanced language for multilinguals class. We had intentional planning for our diverse learners. Our coaches really pushed in with all of our teachers and worked on planning with all of their new curriculum. And then we also worked to increase student attendance. So we shared out on some of those successes in April. And so now we just need to approve another round of a school improvement plan for this coming school year. So we have 3 goals that we have identified. The first being kind of what I feel like is our next logical step with our one from intentional planning. This one is also part of our high quality tier 1 framework, and it's 4.3, which is diverse learners. So we really worked on that planning side of things prior to the instruction, and now we want to be able to see that evidence when we go through our learning walks. We want to be able to see examples of how that differentiation is taking place for our diverse learning population, specifically our multilingual students when it comes to this grant. So similarly to the last one, we want to move this from not yet in place to in place over the course of the school year. Our action steps are identified there. It really follows similarly to what the last one is. We're gonna introduce this to teachers this fall. We have our baseline data from our spring learning walks that we did this year. We'll also have fall learning walks that we'll do the first week of October. Then we will work on professional learning throughout the school year, and then we will look at our data at the end of the school year with our spring learning walks, and hopefully see that improvement at that time. So that is our first goal. Our second goal, I would say the second and third goal really went along. Dr. Mueller did a lot of work with Ms. Lavin this spring doing listening tours with all of her different teacher teams, and then working with her building leaders team to identify some specific goals that they're going to work on this upcoming school year. So they actually created a school improvement plan that she's working on with her staff. So we really wanted to not necessarily provide more work, but really kind of look at these things that we feel like have enormous impact on student achievement. And so we've identified 2 goals that really correspond with her existing school improvement plan. The first being student behaviors. We recognize the impact that that has on student achievement and learning that's taking place. So by the end of the 24-25 school year, CMS will improve upon student behaviors by increasing the percentage of students that receive 0 to 1 referrals with minor behaviors from 73% to 73.4 to 83.4. And students who receive 0 to 1 referrals with major behaviors from 83.8 to 93.8. So that is something that they will be monitoring all school year. We're also working closely with Amanda Hattar, our DEI coordinator, to ensure those equity gaps that take place within student behaviors as well. So monitoring that along with it. So these action steps are ones that they have identified that they'll be doing throughout the school year, which includes their different PBIS things such as their out of the blue days, their school-wide expectations, using live school, creating a more intentional daily advisory schedule, so really looking at what we're doing during advisory. We know that we're rolling out our new SEL curriculum, but that's not every day necessarily. So how are we targeting every day's advisory to be able to target some of these behavior expectations as well as the social emotional learning that they'll be doing. And then the Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is the curriculum they'll be using, and then also they're doing end of the year and end of the quarter barbecues. So that's fun. Barbecues, I guess.
Is the board invited?
Absolutely, and I will make a note and make sure that you are. So I'm not sure what that looks like, but they're very excited about it.
Get a postcard, Michael.
Yes.
The QR code.
The third goal goes along with really what we've been working on district-wide as far as improving chronic attendance. We need students here and able to in order to maximize all of the instruction minutes that we have. So by the end of the school year, we will decrease the number of students who are missing 10 to 19.9% of the school days, which is moderately chronic absence, from 12% to 8%. So moving that from 75 to 50 students is really what the target goal is there. The action steps, again, reviewing our chronic absenteeism data, which we do frequently, really focusing in on the parent education piece. We did some of that this past year with some of our work with Rob Leininger, targeting our multilingual families using surveys and finding those root causes. That's really what it's all about. What is the root cause of the attendance issues? So providing parent education, reviewing the student attendance data on a weekly basis. We are very excited to have our teams that will be helping to monitor some of that student attendance work that we have. And design monthly tier attendance incentive programs, increase communication efforts, which we've been able to do through our PowerSchool add-on and the Kinbo app that really allows us to quickly push out messages to parents, or, you know, your child is absent today, we missed them, hope to see them tomorrow. Just something as simple as that really goes a long way when people know that you notice that their kid isn't there. And then reviewing student attendance data at a tier 2 and tier 3 meetings, so making sure that that is always part of the conversation that we're having obviously conversations around student academics and student behavior, but that we're also having conversations around student attendance data as well. So those are our 3 action steps, those are our 3 goals that we'll be working on for the next school year as part of our school improvement plan. Questions? Nope. Yes, ma'am.
Sometime during the year, we're gonna have any feedback regarding these goals before
May?
next year?
Yes, certainly, yeah, we'll do like a mid-year, touch point for sure.
And plus, we have our new dean.
Yes. Yep, they'll have lots to share after. Alright, was that my last slide? Awesome. Alright,
You must be
thanks so
done
much.
with
I
your
must
last
be done.
slide. Okay.
Have anything else to say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Grossi?
Statement of expenditures in June, expenditures went up pretty good. We had all our summer pays in there, so salaries and benefits were very high up. With the insurance increases that we were just informed about, those insurance increases came in as well, starting for the July payments. And then we had, also for expenditures, we had E-rate payments that came out, and then we had like finalizing tuition payments for special education. Revenues were relatively flat. Nothing crazy happened, evidence-based funding, and then miscellaneous grants outside of that.
Does this close out 23-24?
Yes, so then these are all unaudited final numbers, I want to point out. So then as a result, well, new fiscal year, I've made a new spreadsheet, so new graphs. I wanted to point out that right now we're running, I'm projecting an unaudited fund balance final $28,000 surplus. We did receive a lot of money in July, but it's just based on our accounting mechanisms, it's just truly like when we receive the cash, when it's paid. So like E-rate, for example, that was approved last month. I think it was like $125,000. So we paid that, and then we're gonna get reimbursed in next fiscal year. So it just gets kind of weird how that works, but.
I don't wanna put you totally on the spot, but I'm going to.
That's fine.
I noticed transportation was like almost 20% over what was forecast. Was there like anything in particular that caused that, or?
Transportation costs are increasing pretty heavily. I think there was a combination of that and then just number of routes, field trips. We're starting to get back to like post-COVID numbers where like things are happening more often. And then
Makes sense.
before and after, the total cost for transportation is just so different. So we're finding our new norm and hopefully this year is what it is.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then we had a FOIA from a Mrs. Sherry Reed of Smart Procure, and that has been finished. Any questions? Of course, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks.
Okay. On to public comments. I'm still gonna read the words I read. Per Board of Education Policy 2230, a few reminders specifically about the logistics for the public comment portion of every meeting, including this evening, as is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting. To respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public, we adhere very closely to the 3-minute limit for comments for everyone. We will set a timer, and we expect everyone to respect their 3 minutes. In addition, we do not respond to public comments at board meetings, but we do hear them, we respect, we listen to, and take into account all community member concerns. And if there's a specific question that comes up during comments that we can respond to after the meeting, we will do so in a timely manner. Thank you. On to our board reports. First up is the Back to School Bash possible board donation. I went back into last July's minutes, and so I should not do things off the cuff. Okay, I wrote it all up. So a refresher is this year's Back to School Bash is Thursday, August 22nd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Central Middle School with a rain/weather, because last time it wasn't rain, it was that the blacktop was 130 degrees, yeah. So with a rain/weather backup date of August 29th, Sam was working on a lot of communications and things to get everything up on the website and social media blitz, et cetera, today, she was saying that. So any interested volunteers or sponsors can reach out via email at epfoundation@d124.org. Last year, the Board of Ed donated 2 raffle baskets, the much coveted CMS graduation tickets, and a $250 donation to the bash. This year's bash, the foundation is not seeking as many baskets as last year. People come to the bash and it's awesome, but they don't come to the bash for raffle baskets. They come for bubbles. They come for the foam pit and cotton candy and face painting, let's just call it what it is, right? So they don't really make a lot of money on, or they don't make any more on the big tangible ones than they do on principal for a day, superintendent for a day, like, those are really hot commodities, so, and of course, graduation tickets. So they aren't looking for baskets so much this year. Because of that, last year we did $250 and 2 baskets and grad tickets. So I was wondering, my thought was at least 300, since we're not also spending other things. That's just a thought, but I'm open to anything. Please discuss.
Are there any opportunities for us to also like sponsor an activity there? Like, I'm fine with the 300, but I'm just thinking like, you know,
I'm
bounce
sure
house or
there
a dunk
is.
tank or
So,
something.
the
We
biz,
did talk about dunk tank.
I,
Well, and if it's
Are
anything
you
like the last couple of
volunteering?
years, it might be.
I know, and I said, I'm not.
Oh,
He
he's
missed
not
it.
even, oh, that's not nice. So there are like, opportunities, I did not come prepared to talk about, sorry about that, like I would have it in front of me.
Okay.
So, no, it's okay. So 250, like my business sponsors, and so I have a banner, I think. I think 500 you get a table, or like
Oh, I
there's
see.
increments
Yeah.
like that. We could absolutely do at least a 250 and do the banner, like it doesn't usually come, that would be kinda neat, So the dunk tank, I've heard Michael Miller is now, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I can explore that.
Or just like something to like.
Like, I feel like that
Make
would
it
be
be
kind of
I
cool,
think it
and
was
here's
super
another
popular at
thing.
CMS.
What was that? A
We
dunk
did
tank?
a dunk tank for something
Okay,
and
I did
I
not
remember
offer
Jenna
a
Muller
dunk tank.
saying it's so,
They did.
Yeah.
it's like loved,
That's hilarious.
depending on who was up there.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So you're asking, and I will be happy to ask Samantha, if there's actual sponsorship opportunities, like a table or a banner or.
Something to help make the experience more fun, I just think would be a nice way for us to
Adding,
like
yeah, like
continue to
adding like a
contribute to
little,
it.
like as they said, like a bounce house, like you threw out of there, I was like,
Yeah.
right, that's just like something else, like, hey, like you guys can go do this fun thing to.
Like food trucks or something.
So that would
Taco
be
truck.
in addition to, they're already, taco truck's already coming.
Oh, okay.
So,
But
but
is it
that's
taco
a-
truck or trucks? Because we could do a second, you
Wow.
can't have too many taco trucks.
S&T's does a pizza
I
guy.
say, you guys are awesome.
Where he
I
brings
love
the
it.
little pizzas and.
You're gonna have the farm at the pre-K picnic,
Farm?
which she's gonna have some of the
Oh.
animals, she
Like
had-
the EP farm,
Yeah,
like
Mary
Mary
Kay had to
Kay?
back out because she was short-staffed, but Angela Iverson, our library, and
Yes.
at CMS had chickens, so like she brought them and like
Okay.
it's super popular. I'm just thinking like,
She'll do, like, I mean, she's a big.
bring the animals out.
Okay.
We send kids there all the time.
So, of course. Okay, so we're actually talking about two different things.
Yeah, we're looking.
No, I love it. Are you
Come
kidding me?
on,
This is so fun. I love it. Okay, so two different things. If we are going to pay for something, that is not the same thing as donating, right? It would be adding to the experience, it would be paying for the popcorn, it would be paying for the candy.
Yeah.
Not,
Candy as
thank
well.
you. I'm not a fan of cotton candy. I almost call it candy floss, cause that's what I like, I'm reading a book and that's what they call it. So, but hey, I know kids love it, so, that is in addition to a donation, because the
Yeah.
foundation needs both,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
So, here's what I propose, is, I can gather more information from Samantha and the foundation. See if there's anything that they want that they don't yet have. And then we could also put off the dollar amount for the foundation donation until our August meeting.
Yeah, and I'm fine
that
with
what
us
I'm
saying
hearing?
that there's like a floor of like 250 or 300, whatever.
Yeah.
$1 million.
And then, yeah, yeah, gotta watch those zeros.
Yeah, okay, so Eric gave us our budget for the 23, 24 and what was that?
The dollar amount, we can determine the dollar amount.
We could determine the dollar amount today and then see if there's something else, the activity idea
Mhm.
or
You can approve a dollar amount and an activity.
yes, that we would do an activity with also a ceiling of, 500 or 1,000 or something like that. But I will let the foundation be the expert on what else they're looking for.
Yeah.
Or if anything that they're paying for right now,
Offset.
that they would like us to pay
Great
for instead.
Is that big?
And then our big banner, let's go over the cotton candy brought to you by the, I hope parents don't get angry if we are sponsoring the cotton candy.
Right there.
My kid was so hopped up on sugar.
But they have a good time.
What was that? They will have a very good time, yes, they will. So, I love it. You guys are awesome. So a dollar amount and an activity, okay. Knowing that the activity could be a little pricier than 2 raffle baskets, do we wanna stick with the $250 then?
I would say stick with
Stick with-
$250 since we wanna do
If we can
something
approve
in
that
addition.
and then
Yeah.
talk to Sam about what else they would
Yeah.
like, or if we could offset something for them.
Mhm.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Fabulous. You guys have better imaginations than I do, that's why we're better together, I love it. Okay. I will do that. And we can still approve the dollar amount on this evening's consent agenda, or, yeah. Next up is board policy. Are either one of you ready to, or willing, or are we putting you on the spot, or?
David, you can talk about our policy meetings.
Let's talk about some policies.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
Alright, so between Alan
feel like ever now. We've had a lot of meetings.
Yes, you guys have been very busy, thank
So
you.
we sat down and we've had a lot of discussions, a lot of pure-hearted discussions, like, you know, where we are, where do we need to go, and how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So we identified a couple of policies. We concentrate on policy 7190, I believe it is. I get the numbers right, 7190. We saw a need to change it to basically mimic, basically like the state statute, mimic the state law. We felt there was a lot more protection that way. It eliminated a lot of questions. So why does the policy read exactly what it reads? It's because that's what it says in the state policy. So we're relying on them, which limits a lot of liability. In essence, it also gives direction and clarity to the staff, so therefore the staff can understand, well, this is what you're held to. There's no confusion, and everybody, you know, all parties are on the same page. It also allows the parents in the community to understand this is what we're going to do and why we're doing it, and we're all on the same page.
Brilliant.
So what it's basically saying is that when you have a student that is in a situation where they need to be either isolated or put in isolated timeout or restrained, that these are the guidelines that are very clear. And as they're read in the policy, I mean, basically, it'll tell you, the first one is basically if you're in a life-threatening situation. I mean, there's no party, no person in this party that wouldn't understand what life-threatening means, basically, you know. If it's gonna result in permanent impairment of body functions or permanent damage to your body structure, then of course, it's you know, you might have to use restraints or isolated timeout. It also says if there's a necessity for like a surgical intervention or a permanent impairment to the body functions or permanent damage to the body structure. So it's basically saying, hey, your bar's here, okay? Anything under here, you have to do something else. You have to figure out another way. You have to. But if it gets here and it's between your life, you being permanently injured, you having to go to surgery and can't recover from it, then the state is saying, okay, yes, you can use these techniques. But as it is wrote in the statute, the state is basically asking Illinois that, hey, it's okay to use them, but we want to get away from them. We want to get away from using these type of techniques in Illinois. So they want you to try to holistically come together and figure out like, okay, it was used. Now let's get together and figure out how we can prevent from having to use it in the future. So this is kind of like the policy changes that we did in 190, so it's clear. Everybody's on the same page. I think it's very fair to the staff and to the administrators here that they're on the same page, with the board on the same page, with the parents that are on the same page. And that's what we constructed with this policy. We also met and started briefly speaking on policy 230. 230. I'm trying to get these policies together. And we're at the beginning stage with that policy. That policy is basically when it deals with discipline when it comes to children with special needs. Okay, so there's a hole in the law right now. And I'm gonna share this with you all since we have the floor with the policies. Right now, there's a one-tier system in Illinois. So in other words, children with special needs are disciplined the same way as children without. So there's no exception made in Illinois. And I understand that it's not a board level problem, it's a state of Illinois problem. So understand, if a student does gross disobedience, well, a student with normal intellect can understand what gross disobedience means. And they can understand that, okay, I did something wrong. Some type of discipline is gonna ensue. I might be out of school suspension or whatever it may be, and then that's done for me to correct my behavior to return back to the environment and do better. Well, unfortunately, a child with special needs can't calculate that. They can't formulate that. They can't put it together. But the punishment is the same. So how is that possible? Because when you take them out of school for out of school suspension, they don't correlate and put together that, well, I'm not in school because I did something wrong. They just know they're not in school. They know their regular routine is not going, you're not following the regular routine. So when they do return back to their environment, their behavior isn't adjusted by them being removed because they didn't put it together. So therefore, there needs to be a separate tier, a separate system, a separate way to go about how we can, at times, give them times to like go and readjust. Not necessarily punishment, but time to go home and reset. Dr. Willen came up with some great ideas. We were talking about using some of the mental health days that they have. There are 5 mental health days that each student has. Maybe it can be suggested to the parent that, hey, instead of us suspending this student, you know, for what happened, because we understand that what happened, maybe we can offer you to utilize one of their mental health days. They can go home, reset, you know, get themselves together, and then reinsert back into the environment the next day. We didn't get past what to do past the 5 days. We didn't, but hey, we're somewhere in place right now. We did understand it's a larger picture. It's something that we need to sit down with the state legislators and see if we can come up with a way to make a 2-tier system, to make some other type of remedy for children with special needs to be the end result when they do need time to go home and sit and reset, not be suspended and separated because they don't understand, and it's not gonna adjust their behavior when you reinsert them, so what did you really do? So, that's where we are. We have a lot more meetings to go. And that ends my board report.
That's a lot.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you guys have had many meetings, especially since our last general meeting, so thank you for all your hard work.
I think their perspective is super important though, and Rachel's background as a teacher and David's background in law enforcement was also very helpful. And it's really just getting to clarity more than anything. So I appreciate both of your time.
All of it, because it's been a lot. Thank you. And Mr. Shepherd.
Oh,
Item C is also you.
y'all did not miss this meeting. Y'all did not miss anything that happened at this meeting, y'all.
Okay.
So on June the 6th, we had a lovely meeting. It was the South Cook Divisional Governor Board meeting. We met at ALSA, you know, nice little room. They didn't feed us, but we did meet.
They didn't feed you.
No, they did not feed us at all. Not even a snack, nothing, not even a cup of water.
Tray of cookies?
I was prepared too. I hadn't ate dinner, you know, but it was basically the room against the association. That's exactly what was set up in that room. So it all centered around the executive board, the executive committee. They wanted to not host the autumn legislative panel meeting. They don't want it. They said because the association has the power to select the legislators that show up, they're not essential or beneficial to the people in the south suburbs. We don't want to talk to them. So they want to host their own fall divisional meeting and pick their own speakers. So that's what was going on in the room. So you had the association saying, well, we normally do this for you. People on the floor saying, we don't want what you do for us. They took a vote. They voted out the association. So they're gonna have their own fall divisional meeting with their own speaker. And the association was like, okay, we'll take back the way you feel. And that was like the tension in the room. Yeah, it was interesting. So.
No.
They should have fed you guys.
Yeah.
No.
These meetings go much better.
Not even a little bit.
Should have done a whole lot. Very interesting, okay.
So that meeting will take place on October the 3rd, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. That's going to be, they didn't pick a location yet. Then they're gonna have the next annual divisional meeting with recognitions. That's gonna be on Thursday, March the 13th of 2025 at 6 p.m. They're picking a location for that. They have several different places they wanna be. And then there's going to be the summer governing board meeting, which is going to be June the 5th at 6 p.m. And they're picking a location for that. The only other thing that we covered at the meeting is they was looking for considerations of people, speakers of different topics that they wanted to talk about. They picked out govern like a boss. I don't know what that is. Seasoned board on round tables. I have no idea.
Okay.
Treasurer and school board finance. I picked up on that one. That might be a good one. And there was a suggestion from the floor of audits and levies.
Oh.
So they're going to form some speeches on that and host them at these different events. And that was the end of that meeting.
Okay.
So it's obvious there's some tension there between the board and the association.
I really appreciate everybody, but I appreciate standing up and saying, can we learn about this instead? Like
Yeah,
me,
this-
right? Not
it-
being in the room, you know what I mean? But I, like, okay, that's an interesting, like, I hear you.
And if I remember going to the meeting in, was it last October? They did have some legislators that were there, and they basically were really not from the south suburbs.
Okay,
They were
okay,
from different places in Illinois, but
yeah,
you know, I mean, they had one or two, and then they put out I think like they asked for like 20, and maybe like 4 showed up or something like that. So I kind of like understand what they're saying,
sure,
you know, but they just wanted more control, so they took a vote,
all right,
and that was it.
spicy. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
More vibrant report than normal, right? Something to say, all right. So item D is the joint annual conference attendance. I wrote stuff up, of course. Registration is now open for our annual conference this November, Friday, November 22nd to Sunday, November 24th. Wow, is that late? Thanksgiving is the 28th
know.
this year, crazy. I do encourage all of us to attend if we can. If you're interested in attending, please let Sonia know. That's pretty much the answer at the end of every sentence for the rest of this is please let Sonia know. If you are interested and available to attend the Friday Focus workshops, they are very worthwhile if you haven't. They do require advanced registration and payment, so again, please let Sonia know. I just wanted to put in a plug. I just attended the IASB Board President's Workshop in June. I went to Champaign, and Denise Jones was on my mind. I'm just remembering how important our own professional development as board members, as we are. And yeah, so if you, like I said, if you can possibly make it, I totally get it, that family stuff comes up, et cetera. But it really is worthwhile. So in all things, check with Sonia. That's the answer to that. Okay, any comments about?
I'd just be interested to see if they took any of our suggestions to heart
Oh,
and see if there'll be any changes.
I mean, I don't think the schedule, like, I don't think it's firmed up. I mean, the Friday workshop, the Friday Focus workshops, but hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for those this year because I felt like they were always the same.
Mhm.
And then every time we went, there was all the other ones I wanted to go to, you
Oh,
know,
sure,
that we don't know about till later on.
yeah.
And so this year I decided, you know, I'm gonna go and I'll pick and choose what I wanna go to.
Just be open to.
Because I kept saying I was gonna do that each time I sign up for one of the, you know, in there
I
all
never
day.
make it down to the vendors. Like, I've always got so much, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of
So
networking
many of them.
that goes, I mean, I know Denise's first one, she got dinner for all the staff, like, I never, there's some things I just don't get to because
Mhm.
there's so many other things
Because you're
to-
stuck all day in
Yeah.
2 different sessions.
Yeah.
Just hoping they come with some more advanced,
Yeah.
you know, courses, because most of them were all like beginner.
Right.
They were beginner.
And
or
we're
they
like,
were
okay,
not
we've been doing
situated
this for a
with-
while now.
Us in reality, like, you know, this is how we fixed our budget.
Right.
Like, okay, that's nice, but we don't have that type of money, we don't have those programs.
Right.
But all of it's like beginning, okay, so this is how a school board is set up. Okay,
We
I
better
know
know
that.
that by now,
I wanna
yeah.
learn more, right? So hopefully.
Yeah, like I said, I know the Friday Focus workshops are out. I don't know if the general schedule is out
Yeah,
yet.
usually we didn't
Like,
get
that
that
doesn't
till
usually
we-
happen until a little bit later. So hopefully they were poring over your input.
Yeah.
That would be good. Okay, and then finally, our replaced Arrow board meeting. Yes, I did attend. I got a text from my friend Denise at work on Monday, and I said, sure, I can do that. So I was reminded when I mentioned to Dr. Woodland that I went to the meeting, the tile replacement, that beautiful new building, less than a year really completely done. They did have to replace all the tile throughout the building.
Wow.
It was a manufacturer defect, and therefore it was a
Covered?
manufacturer, yes.
Okay.
So the defect was the glaze was not appropriately administered. So like the seal on the tile, so even in just 1 year of use, the floors were really starting to show use because the protective glaze was not there. So I was like, what exactly is the problem with this tile? Like, did they put something in it that was dangerous to the kids? No, it was just that they had missed that end. That really did matter, so there you go. So the meeting this past Monday started with a report on an internship program that they initiated this summer called Teacher Helper, where local high school students helped with their summer school session. They hoped to have a few students to apply. They had 57 applicants for the, from the Green Park, like from the districts, feeder districts, and they had 40 regular participants that were our local high school students.
That's awesome.
I know, it was, and the comments and the feedback from the students, from the helpers, from the teachers, and from the students at Arrow were just phenomenal. So they absolutely hope to do that again next year. We approved the Arrow budget for 24-25. We reviewed changes in their bell schedule to allow staff 10 minutes to get ready for the day before students enter the building. We received hiring and staffing updates. They are also still looking to fill positions. I was thinking of you, Patricia. They've had some like walk-in job fairs and things like.
They had a big turnout, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they had a number of positions. I
Yes.
asked, how was that? Did you have a big turnout? They,
Yeah.
They said they did, but I don't know like how many people were hired from.
Right.
Right. I just, like I said, it was good to like some of the things that we do, other districts and Arrow does as well. So yeah, I was
I like the idea that they called it walk-in interviews.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like-
sent that to Patricia the minute I
Oh.
saw
bring
it.
your resume. Come on in. They did discuss how the qualifications or certification for paras is different than it was. There's less of a barrier to entry, and like you can come and then take the classes within like a certain amount of time. So they kind of talked about some of that too, so. And then they also suggested that everyone follow their Facebook page and read their monthly Arrow Aviator Gazette for celebrations, events, curriculum updates, and program information. Dr. Roslin was saying that it always makes him happy when it's published and he watches the numbers grow.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
okay, we've got like so many families and so many community members and like students, and so, but yeah, that was really good information, so. So there you go. How did I do?
And did you all extend
His contract?
the contract?
Yes, we did. Yeah. It's a really big packet, like, and Mary Zofke runs a great meeting, so. So that was all, yeah, it was very good. We were
I
out.
was like, what do you remember about the Arrow meeting? I'm like, a lot about tile.
Glaze, no glaze, like that really did matter, so. So yeah, it was good. Happy to be there.
Glad you were happy.
I'm glad it worked out, because otherwise we would have been like going down the list, but yeah, I could do that, and I remember how to, do that. Great, any questions? Okay, so we are on to our action items. Consent agenda item A is to, 1, approve monthly transaction reports for June of 2024. 2, approve fund balance reports for June of 2024. 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for July of 2024. 4 is to approve board minutes from the regular meeting of June 18th, 2024. 5 is to approve the closed session minutes from the regular meeting of June 18th, 2024. 6 is to approve the destruction of closed session tapes from March of 2020. And 7 are our personnel recommendations as listed below with additions and resignations at the end of the school year. If I could have a first motion to approve consent agenda item A.
Motion to approve consent agenda item A.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
And a roll call.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Lauren Dowden,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes, Michael Wallmiller.
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
B is to approve the CMS school improvement grant as published, as shared by Ashley, right? If I could have a first motion, please,
I'll make the motion.
and a second,
I'll second.
and a roll call, please.
Mike Wallmiller.
Yay.
Denise Jones, yes. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. I'm sorry, Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. That's okay.
I went past my name and.
You knew I was gonna say yes. Okay, that's all right.
Colleen Clemzak?
Yes.
Motion.
Excellent. Item C is to approve the Back to School Bash Board of Education donation in the amount of $250. And also asking Sam for more, but for the purposes of the agenda, approve Back to School Bash, Board of Ed donation in the amount of $250. If I could have a first motion, please,
I'll make the motion.
and a second,
Second.
and a roll call.
Mike Wallmiller.
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent, thank you. Item D is, per our board packet, approve resolution ratifying proposed amendments to the Arrow Special Education Co-op Articles of Joint Agreement. If I could have a first motion, please,
I'll first.
and a second,
I'll second.
and a roll call.
Denise Jones, yes. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Michael Wallmiller.
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes,
Motion passed.
I'm very excited about E.
Me too, I'm just so excited.
So excited
I
about
don't have to
E.
email Sonia anymore and say, can you send me just this one policy?
I went and I was like, it's not up yet, nope, I was just on the webpage, nope.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little
So,
while to get it up, but.
Item E is per your board packet, I'm not going to read the manual. Approve the second reading and adoption of the board policy customized manual. If I could, I will make the first motion. Colleen Clemzak makes the first, and a second, please.
Second that motion.
Thank you, and a roll call.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Mike Wallmiller.
Yay.
Denise Jones, yes. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Finally.
It's a long time coming, my friends. That's a lot of work and I appreciate it. Okay, and F then, per our board report and our packet, to approve the first reading of revised board policy 7190 as recommended by the board policy committee. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Great, and a second.
I'll do the second.
Thank you, and a roll call.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Michael Wallmiller.
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent, okay. And now we will recess to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or legal counsel to determine its validity per 5 ILCS 120/2.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you, and a roll call?
Michael Wallmiller.
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin. Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed to closed session.
To close session, great, 7:08.
7:08 p.m.
We will be taking action after, but we will not be live streaming and we do not know how long it will take. So, there you go. Thank you all for being here.